Hello everyone, hi and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about Scandinavian style tips that we can all use. I was born and raised in Copenhagen, Denmark, and even though I moved to Switzerland 3 years ago, I'd like to believe that I still have some sort of clue as to what I'm talking about. However, I am no authority on style. I'm just some girl with a YouTube channel. So all of the points and rules that I'm going to be sharing and chatting about just comes from personal observations and opinions. Because of the overall simplicity to the look, the Scandinavian style is a very effortless way to look stylish once you get the basic values down, and I think that might also help explain its popularity and influence on a more international style level. The common denominator for all of the points that I'm going to be making is that the Scandinavian style overall has a very minimal and decluttered look to it, even when layered. And layered is the key here because that is often the case because the entirety of Scandinavia is part of or is in the northern hemisphere, so it gets really cold, dark and windy. And so keeping all of that in mind, the first point to Scandinavian style I want to talk about is the minimalist aesthetic that often follows. The Scandinavian look is a bold but simultaneously understated one. You likely won't find too many busy or loud pattern in a typical Scandinavian wardrobe, and the individual pieces often follow a simple theme of either straight or soft lines in one solid and often muted color. Don't get me wrong, patterns are found, but they are often more contrived and restrained rather than organic and loud. And in the Scandinavian style, even for more feminine, soft and romantic looks, the design usually stays quite simple and less intricate. For example, a more romantic Scandinavian look is often found in the flowiness of the fabrics or the softness of the overall lines rather than in details like bows, ruffles and lace, which is definitely more traditionally true for other cultures' feminine style. Basically, the Scandinavian style has this very typical less is more approach to almost every aspect of the design and the style, which definitely helps giving that minimalist aesthetic that is often associated with the Scandinavian style. So if you are looking to incorporate more of that effortless Scandinavian look into your wardrobe, looking for pieces with less of the classically intricate details is key. The next point I want to talk about is the layering and muted colors that are very present in the Scandinavian style as well. The classic Scandinavian color scheme typically consists of muted and neutral colors, both in the wardrobe but also in the home. And other than the fact that of course it's in line with this classically minimalist aesthetic, it might also have something to do with just how much layering is necessary in the Scandinavian wardrobe. With just how cold it gets, you need coat on top of jacket, on top of sweater, on top of shirt, with boots, with accessories, with pants, with everything. These colors of course are going to be easier to mix and match as they rarely stand out from each other in ways that are unpleasant to the eye. Whilst of course vibrant colors are super beautiful in their own way, having a wardrobe consisting mostly of neutral or muted colors is just going to make it that much easier to mix and match everything you have. So if you are a person with a lot of colors in your wardrobe and you often find difficulty in putting together an outfit, maybe adding a palette of neutrals to your existing wardrobe is going to help. Don't confuse neutral and muted colors for a soft or even monochrome look though. Scandinavians are happy to make high contrast outfits, and a color like black is very commonly worn in the Scandinavian countries, with all black outfits also being very commonly worn. One more thing to mention about these neutral or muted colors is that they also fit in very well with the wintry, gray and coastal climate that is true for every Scandinavian country, as compared to, for example, in more southern or tropical climates where vibrant colors are found in nature all times of the year. And this is just a testament to the fact that we feel very comfortable blending into, or at the very least fitting in with and connecting to our surroundings. And even if you are someone who really appreciates color, having just one palette in your wardrobe of neutrals and deciding what neutrals work for you, so you have something that is easily thrown together, can definitely help and is definitely a style tip from the Scandinavians. The next point I want to be talking about is practicality and functionality in design. If it doesn't serve a purpose, it's most likely not found in the Scandinavian design. Functional elements goes above looks, which is why in classical Scandinavian design, you're not very likely to find elements that does not serve a purpose. Again, for example, bows and ruffles. The entire Scandinavia exists in a very cold, dark, and windy temperate climate. Historically here, clothing isn't only to express yourself or even to cover up. It also has a very deep inherent protective and practical value. And I'd argue that even with the extreme upsurge in fast fashion, Scandinavians still have a tendency to expect very high quality in their garments. Woolly accessories, weather-resistant outer layers, robust inner linings, inner pockets, and extra zippers are all elements that are rarely spared in Scandinavian designs. The standard for quality and functionality is very high in the Scandinavian mentality, both from the creator and the buyer in general. This can also help explain the way that Scandinavian people are very commonly dressed even in slightly more formal situations or when they go out in the nightlife. Going out in Scandinavia, casual footwear like low-heeled boots or even sneakers are extremely commonly worn, even in these more typically dressed up situations. And something, for example, like wearing bare legs in the cold to go out, which is more commonly seen in other northern countries, like for example in Britain. If you do the same in Scandinavian countries, people are more likely to look at you as if you're a little bit ridiculous. As here, surrendering practicality to aesthetics is not viewed as particularly attractive or clever. Scandinavian style is often viewed or thought of as somewhat effortless, and there is just nothing effortless about going cold or being uncomfortable in your footwear just to look good. The next point I want to be talking about as part of the Scandinavian style is statement pieces. In the Scandinavian style, even many statement pieces have a tendency to this minimalistic and simple approach in their design. And then of course the statement often stands out because of the otherwise blank canvas or simple outfit that the rest of your look is made up of. If the outfits that you are typically wearing are usually more busy in their designs, something like dainty jewelry or very simple accessories might be a good choice. But in Scandinavian style, there is often space for these more bold pieces on top of your otherwise blank canvas of an outfit. A typical Scandinavian statement piece can be something like a loud colored accent piece, like a bold, vibrant colored beanie for winter, or a big bulky piece of jewelry. Commonly for Scandinavian looking statement pieces like jewelry is that they are usually sleek and elegant but contemporary in an almost architectural way, just like the clothing and a lot of other Scandinavian designs. So even with bolder statement pieces, the overall look is sleek, simplistic, and rarely too busy. The next point I want to be talking about, and this is something that is very in right now, is how the Scandinavian style tends to push the boundaries of gender and can often look a little bit more androgynous. Whilst the stereotypical, for example, French or Italian woman tends to dress more feminine in a way that often consists of more intricate details and also more tailored clothing. In the Scandinavian style, everything serves a purpose, so these type of feminine details are often left out. So here the overall design is often feminine in slightly more subtler ways, and even classically feminine items can often have a sort of androgynous feel to them, rather than being feminine all the way. This is going to be very apparent in some popular Scandinavian brands, like for example Arcade and even COS a little bit. Places like here and in typical Scandinavian designs in general, you won't find things like bows on underwear or typically very feminine floral designs. And again, a lot of female clothing will just have an androgynous feel to them in their overall tailoring and structure. Point number 6, less is more. Scandinavian style has an overall less is more approach, which runs through every point that I've made. To stretch this point, if you're already wearing a couple of tones or colors and a statement piece right now, your outfit is probably already done if you're trying to go the Scandinavian way. There is this classical saying, and although I don't remember who said it, I'm sure one of you guys will remember and let me know in the comments, which is once you put an outfit together, stand back and remove one thing. And I think as a last general rule of thumb, if you're looking to create a Scandinavian outfit, this is probably a pretty good way to end with the building before you leave your door. Overall, the Scandinavian style is casual but polished, effortless but contrived, and layered but still simple. These were the points that I have, but I do want to mention before that you leave that all of the points I've made have been made for the more classically Scandinavian style as I would view it, because right now, whenever I go back home to Denmark, I return to some sort of gingham pastel mecca. I haven't been to any other countries in Scandinavia since I moved to Switzerland, but the past couple of years, every time I go home, the style in Denmark has been this like pastel explosion. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just that I am well aware that the Scandinavian style has gone this very color explosive Ghani type of way. So this whole video is not a take on what's going on in Scandinavia right now, but more what was going on 3, 4, 5 years ago, and then years before that as well. The entire time that I was living there. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see if the newer Scandinavian style is going to last, or how it's going to integrate into the next years to follow, because something that is very true for Scandinavia is that Scandinavian people are very sustainably minded, and I would be slightly curious, if not concerned, to see how many of the pieces that are created and worn right now, if they are really going to be wearable in a few years from now, where classically I would say that the more typical Scandinavian style that I had just made a whole video about, the pieces within here are more timeless, where I would argue that some of the pieces that are created right now will be less, could end up being less timeless, but I could be totally wrong and time will show. If you like this video, please don't hesitate giving it a thumbs up so that I know. It really does help out my channel and I super appreciate it. And if you're here for the first time and not already subscribed, then consider doing that, because I would love to keep you around. Thanks for watching and farewell!